People want sexual freedom without the burdens that come from having to deal with the consequences of their choices. So to continue worshiping Molech, we will offer up our babies. And we now have a political party that will celebrate with you and fight for you to do whatever is necessary to eliminate any hindrance to your worship.
From Living Word Church, you're listening to the Living the Word podcast, encouraging you to walk steadfastly in your Christian faith.
The Democratic National Convention is being hosted in Chicago. Just like the Republican National Convention that took place in Milwaukee, the DNC will have days of speeches and large crowds gather to celebrate the nomination of their respective presidential and vice presidential candidates. There are certainly similarities between both political parties, but one difference that is hard to ignore is the focus on reproductive health. Reproductive health is what the Democratic Party calls, in reality, their platform of death. They frame the discussion about abortion and the killing of innocent babies as an issue of, quote, reproductive health. Outside of the DNC, just a couple of blocks from the convention center, Planned Parenthood set up a mobile unit in order to address the, quote, reproductive health issues of the public. In reality, what was happening is that Planned Parenthood had a food truck-style trailer set up to offer free vasectomies, contraceptives, and abortion pills. They proudly announced that their appointments were full and that they would only be able to accept walk-ins as the opportunity presented itself. It really is hard to fathom that in the streets of Chicago, there is a celebration of not only encouraging people to not have children that God says is a blessing from Him, but they are also celebrating the fact that they are going to help facilitate the killing of innocent human lives inside of mothers' wombs. Just like the convenience of getting a taco outside of a convention center from a food truck, women will be able to kill the human life they are carrying in their womb. There are no doubt many things to be concerned about with the Republican Party. They have softened their strong pro-life position. The Democratic Party, however, is creating new ways to take their culture of death even further. As Christians, our hearts should be broken over the fact that abortion and the ease with which it is celebrated is seemingly par for the course for one of our major political parties. The right to an abortion is the platform of the Democratic Party. They have not been hiding that for a very long time, but now, the week where the eyes of the country will be focused on their agenda, Planned Parenthood has given everyone the opportunity to see just how far the DNC has fallen. In ancient biblical times, there was a false god of the Canaanites that was worshipped. The false god was named Molech. Sexual idolatry and child sacrifice was part of the rituals used to worship Molech. In short, the false god Molech was a god of sexual idolatry. Parents were encouraged to sacrifice their firstborn to this false deity. Babies were placed in the statue's arms or in the hole of the statue. When a couple sacrificed their firstborn, they believed that Molech would ensure financial prosperity for their family and future children. Sexual idolatry and the worship of sexual fulfillment is one of the many false gods of our culture today. And the ones who suffer the most because of this idolatry is children. People want sexual freedom without the burdens that come from having to deal with the consequences of their choices. So to continue worshiping Molech, we will offer up our babies. And we now have a political party that will celebrate with you and fight for you to do whatever is necessary to eliminate any hindrance to your worship, even if that means promoting a mobile abortion clinic on the streets of Chicago. So in Chicago this week, you can get a hot dog from a street vendor, and then afterwards you can walk down the street and worship at the altar of Molech and sacrifice the life of your child.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you would like to submit a potential question, a topic, or an idea for a future episode, or learn more about the Living the Word podcast, you can visit us at livingwordhoma.com. We would like to say thanks to all of you who subscribed, shared episodes, and left reviews. Living the Word podcast is a production of Living Word Church in Houma, Louisiana, under the leadership of Pastor Ben Buffkin. Our prayer is that you will remain faithful to living the Word.